Listen, I've done both, front and back.
Yeah, you have. High five myself.
I prefer the front over the back because the back I feel like I'm stuck. I'm in some situation. I'm stuck. Anyway, George.
Well, you're the one who said it. You're stuck in the back.
Anyway.
Restaurant Punk, what's up?
Bonjour.
Oui. Parlez-vous français? Waifu Taiwan.
What enough, everybody.
Or mime.
The whole episode, we're just going to mime. No subtitles necessary.
Oh my God.
Man, how is everybody?
Peter is next to me.
I'm good. I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
You look a little tired.
I feel it.
You have a monster?
I do have a monster.
You are a monster.
Getting off topic.
Kate will confirm for that.
We're getting off topic.
What is the topic?
Oh, I don't know. Do you think you have nothing?
Can we get away with topics, saying topics all the time?
Okay, I do have
a
a theme. I do have a theme for today.
Oh, is it a costume party?
No, but we can dress up next week.
Nice.
I just want to delve into this. Is this a myth or does this exist? Is there a divide between the front of the house and back of the house?
It's true.
Everybody's always like,
come on.
F the back of the house. Back of the house is like, those goddamn servers don't know what the hell they're doing.
It's true.
Is that everywhere?
Everywhere.
Is that everywhere?
Everywhere.
Yep. Even in a very fluid kitchen, it's still the same.
Now,
A very
do you
fluid
believe?
Fluid,
do you believe that's
positive, smooth.
Oh.
Now, how can there
restaurant,
be a divide?
it's-
Like,
it's
what
still-
causes the divide?
Because the rest for the front house thinks they're better than the back of the house. The back house thinks they're better than the front of the house. The front house makes all this money on tips. The back house sweats their ass off cooking, and they don't get the tips. And
Well, I think back of the house, so the people are not in it for the money.
I work
but
hard
they're-
for my money.
Some of them are. Some of the back of the house people.
Well,
are
yeah,
some
I mean,
money
they're-
chefs. and-
Well, I mean, if
yeah.
somebody wanted money, they would just go to the front of the house.
But not everybody can do front of the house. Not everybody has the look. Not everybody can talk to people. They don't have people skills. They can't.
I don't think there's been one place that was definitely not a divide where I worked at.
Burger King.
Fine dining French. There was not a divide there.
Oui.
100%.
I guarantee you there was, Pete.
I worked there for almost 3 years.
In that particular place, they were still behind the back. There's always a
I
divide.
hung out with front of the house people.
Oh, you can
Well,
hang out.
If you think about
Actually, I'll take that
Okay.
back.
no,
no. Oh,
you just said it yourself. Front of the house, back of the
Yeah.
house. It's a divide right there, as you say. It's not a whole house.
And when I say a divide, I don't mean a divide by, title. I mean a divide in clashing with butting heads, arguing over stupid shit.
well, yeah,
Now-
because the kitchen's nonstop, Pete. The kitchen's nonstop.
And people can argue the front of the
This
house
shit's
is
getting real
nonstop as
intense,
well.
guys.
Okay, so you have the kitchen. They have 10 checks. They're all working 10 checks.
Tell him, Nico.
Okay, you have the front of the house. You have 3 servers.
Mm-hmm.
One server has 3 tables. One server has 4 tables. So when the person's done their 3 tables, they're not pretty much doing anything else. They got like a break per se.
Maybe I should have brought
on.
Liz or Noel or somebody else on this one.
Respond.
Because front of the house never stops. When you get your ticket in the kitchen, this is why I straight to kitchens. I get a ticket. I complete the ticket. I'm done.
One ticket,
One ticket.
which means you
There's
have one
another.
table out front.
Yeah. I don't have to deal. I don't have to talk to people. Excuse me, can you do this? Can I have a coffee? Can I have cream? Oh, you forgot the sugar. I meant the yellow sugar. Oh, my thing's dirty. Can you replace this? Can you do this?
My
oh my
thing's
God,
dirty
that
too.
tattoo's amazing. Where'd you get that from? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. No. Give me a ticket. Let me complete it. I'm done with you. And that's it.
That's really mean.
Yeah, but when you're busy, it's a different animal because it's a nonstop. It could be from 7 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock straight.
And so
The
is front of
kitchen-
the house.
Yeah, but how many times have you seen the kitchen?
I'm sorry. Let's
how many
stray.
times?
What's more difficult, front of the house or back of the house?
Back of the house.
Shit's getting real.
Back of the house, Pete.
Back of the house.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree too. Back of the house is.
I'm gonna say the front of the house. The front of the house is more difficult because you got to deal with the customers.
Front of the house
you got
has
to
the
deal with
stresses
that bullshit.
too.
Don't
I would
get me
never
wrong,
wanna
of
do it.
course
For
they do.
me, I would rather work 6
But
nights a
you're
week.
also a chef, though.
I know. It's easier for
Yeah,
me.
it's easier. So it's for someone that's not a chef. It's easier to do the front of the house.
I just feel like there are stresses for front of the house just as
No,
much
I
as
didn't
back
say
of the
there
house.
wasn't. I agree with you.
What was the topic again?
I have no
I'm
idea.
lost.
The divide between front of the house and back of the
yeah.
house. Yeah, but the front of the house gets to talk. They get to talk to people. They see somebody different every other turn. They get to engage. They get to do many things that their minds all over. I'm not saying like all over the place, but it's all over. They're doing something. As opposed to the kitchen, they're stuck in the line.
No,
They're
their mind's
nonstop
all over the place. They're trying to do 10 tickets on the window and prepare every single one.
Yeah, but they're still stuck behind.
I don't know what we're arguing about right
Mommy,
now.
mommy, help me!
A
I'm
table
scared.
comes in. You don't get to them for 5 minutes. Is
Wow,
that
you're a
okay?
bad server.
Wow, all this talk about vintage.
A table comes in. The server doesn't get to them for whatever reason.
Yes.
Okay, because they're busy. But the kitchen has to do the check because they have so many different tables they have to worry about.
Yeah, but the kitchen, you can multitask. You can't multitask 2 tables that need to get addressed at the same exact time.
Yeah, you
Kitchen,
can. Yes,
I
you
can
can.
look 5
What are you
tickets.
talking about?
How do you talk to 2 people at the same time?
You just you touch one, you go right to the other. As long as you drop a napkin or drop some water and say, guys, I'll be right with you.
I'll be right with.
I mean, whoa, what are you talking about over here? What are you talking about with us?
No, what I'm saying is if you have 2 tables that you need to take orders at,
Hold on, he's flying an airplane. This way, this way.
you got to take the order.
Yeah,
You got to work the table, and then you got to get to the next table.
correct. But you're still working 2 different tables, but within the same.
How do
then
you
you're
do
working your
how
whole
do you
station.
do 2 tickets at once in the kitchen?
Oh, this table, 5 tickets ahead.
Hey,
needs a
don't
steak.
point at me, young
Let me
man.
throw it on the grill. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you throw it on grill. We're touching a table. We're gonna still
Yeah,
touch
but
a
my
table.
touching a ticket 5 ahead is only.
Whoa,
I don't touch tickets.
you touched the
Are
well.
they small tickets?
But it
Pete?
takes a second. It takes a second. You have to stop front of the house. You gotta when you go to a table, you gotta be all about that table. I hate when people
No,
are being
you're
short.
all about the base, about the base, about the base. Hey, mama.
Thanks, George.
You're welcome.
We had
What causes the divide between the front and
we
the
had a
back?
discussion before, just to kind of prove my point. We had a discussion before about cell phones, right? And it's usually the front of the house on their cell phones. If they're so busy, how do they have time to get on their cell phones? Correct? As
Back of the
opposed
house, I used to be on my cell phone.
yeah,
too.
if they have nothing to do.
There's always something to do, Nico.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Wait,
Lord.
so we're saying service,
Do you think the cell
food,
phone?
atmosphere.
Food.
I'm trying to get to the point of
the divide.
what causes
It's
the
the money.
divide.
The money
It's the
causes
money,
the divide.
100%.
It's the money. It's the server that's going to come in.
I don't believe it.
What do you mean you don't believe it? You're set as set money, set hourly or salary for the kitchen. Okay. So when on a rainy day, yeah, they're going to be happy because that server's not making any money. But that server is going to come in here, hungover, can do what they want in 4 hours or 5 hours and be happy.
Yeah,
And you're stuck in the kitchen for 10 hours and you'll be happy if your boss gives you a beer at the end of the shift.
listen, I've done both, front and back.
Yeah, you have. High five myself.
I prefer the front over the back because the back I feel like I'm stuck. I'm in some situation. I'm stuck. Anyway, George.
Well, you're the one who said it. You're stuck in the back.
Anyway,
This is a little tight.
the front of the house though, you get to move around. You're moving. You're running. I'll wait till you guys are done.
You're going with it again.
We're gonna make shirts.
When
So
you're,
you're stuck
when you're
in
a
the back.
server in the front or a hostess or a busser, you're moving. You're constantly moving. You get to explore whatever space you have in the front. As opposed to the kitchen, you're kind of just stuck in the little kitchen. Even if it's a bigger kitchen, you're still stuck in a little cubicle per se.
Yeah.
So they don't get to engage with people. They have to talk to the same people. And if one of the cooks or a dishwasher's pissing them off, they have to be right next to them. As opposed to the front of the house, they get to talk to other people. Even they have crazy crappy
If your
customers.
busser's pissing you off.
Huh?
Your busser could be pissing
Yeah.
you off. Your hostess, your
Because
friend.
you're front of the house?
Because your buster's a kid.
Yeah, but you get to move away, completely away. The busser could be over here. The hostess could be over there. The server can just walk around, go in the back or whatever. There's a place to escape. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And servers do make more money than the kitchen, but not
Well,
always.
Obviously, they do.
But not always.
most restaurants, they probably do.
A lot of kitchens don't have air conditioning either in the summer. So they're sweating their asses off, going through.
So is it the
500
kitchen's
checks.
fault? Are they causing
It's
the
not a, it's
divide?
not a fault. It's just, there's always going to be a separation.
there
I
is.
don't
What do
feel
you,
like there has to be.
It doesn't have to be, but there is, no matter where you go.
so what do you like? Do you like the front or the back, Pete?
I feel like you're just trying to reel me in on this one.
I'm trying. They want to know. The people want to know. Does Pete like the front or the back? We want to know.
We should ask Noel that.
We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, you will.
There is a divide, and you know that.
There's always going to be a divide.
I feel like when I worked at the one restaurant, I was a chef in Old City, there was not a divide. When I worked at the French restaurant, there was not. When I worked at a restaurant in University City and another restaurant in Old City, there was.
I just don't. I think you're just
Let me
too
ask
nice.
you a question. In all your expertise and your experience in the
My
restaurant fields,
experience.
who caused the more mistakes, the kitchen or the front of the house?
Ooh.
I think you're getting Actually, I would say
Say it.
there was a 50-50.
That's bad restaurant then, I would say, or whatever. The front of the
Well,
house.
that's why it doesn't happen often. But what I'm saying is sometimes a server rings in something on a computer wrong. I'm gonna totally mix out handwritten tickets and just go computer system printouts. Oh, I forgot table 3 needed an extra one of these. Or the kitchen made something that was a special order that they didn't make special sometimes. I feel like it goes, or the temperature was a degree off or something like that.
There could be the mistake as far as that goes, correct. As far as the kitchen will always say fine and then remake it if it's their fault. I guess more
so. Okay, I think it would lean more towards front of the house.
If a first server forgets to put an order in, forgets to put a temperature on, actually puts the wrong order in, you know what I'm saying? And then the whole check comes out except for that one mistake. They have to redo that one. And then,
So basically you're saying there would not be a divide if just the front of the house owned up to all their mistakes that they make.
But it's not.
Okay. No. You heard it here on Restaurant Punk, everybody.
But it's not always the server's fault because the customer, I've had many customers say, I want the hanger.
They always blame the customer.
But
it probably is the customer's fault sometimes.
Think about the situations where the customer thinks they ordered one thing, but they ordered something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get what they ordered, but it wasn't what they were thinking.
I want the roasted chicken, but they want the seared scallops.
I mean, it's happened. It's happened.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it happen.
Now the kitchen has to stop what they're doing with their massive checks in the back to make that one, so they're not, even though it's the customer's fault, you know what I'm saying? They have to stop or add something extra to do for that one person. It could be 2 things. It could be 3 things. Plus as many other things that I've turned on.
So are we blaming the customers for the front and the back?
Okay, so you heard it here on Restaurant Punk, everybody. It's all the customers now.
Going down. I'm just saying there's going to be a divide. There's going to be a divide.
There's always going to be a divide, and there's nothing anybody can do about it unless the front of the house goes in the back and cooks, and the back house comes out and serves. That's the only way you can understand it.
Like AJ. Perfect example.
AJ. Everybody knows AJ.
Shout out to AJ. AJ came abroad. He wanted to be a server, but I put him in as a food runner. Served.
Oh, you're AJ.
Yeah.
I like AJ.
Did everything in the front. I needed a cook for the back. He went in the back. And he's like, wow, I never understood it before, but now I get it. It sucks back here. So, he gets it because there's a different work requirement. There's a different way of handling things because you have to make so many different items come out at the same time or a certain way per check.
Yeah.
Now, if you have 10 checks and this thing, check number 7 or 5, like you were saying, takes forever, you're going to put it in, you're skipping over other checks that are smaller, but you got to make it all where it's coming out. It's not overcooking.
I know the mistakes happen.
There's more stress in the
across
back.
the board. It's just not the servers. The food runners make a mistake with table numbers sometimes. Cooks make their mistakes. Everybody makes their mistakes. But it's tough. I think maybe it's blame. That just everybody blames everybody else for the mistakes and they hold it against them and then start making fun of them. And then there's that little friction there. But I don't know. I know you believe that it's all the server's fault, Nico, and the customers.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's
George
not even
is
about
all
fault.
Peaceful.
I'm just saying
very peaceful.
There's going to be a divide to answer your question always. Even if you have a fluid, smooth restaurant, which includes both, no drama, no toxicity, there's always going to be a divide. It doesn't have to be a negative divide, but it's going to be a divide. You know what I'm saying? Because like we had another episode, you said as a server, the late coming in, once the kitchen does their last ticket, they can go home where the server has to be stuck there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? True. So there's going to be a divide of that.
That's true too.
There's ups and downs where the kitchen could go out for smoke breaks whenever they want if they have no checks, whereas the front of the house has to be wary and tend to their customers.
Yeah, the positives and
worry about not smelling like smoke or whatever. You know what I mean?
As the French would say, oui, oui.
Well, our next episode will be filmed all in French.
All right, cool.
Guys,
Restaurant Punk.
thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Bonjour.
Au revoir.
Parlez-vous français?
Hola.
Oui, oui. À la croissante. Eiffel Tower. We're
gonna film this whole episode in French. Okay? Everybody just try your best. And we do subtitles like we know what we're talking.
We should do an episode like that and we'll just make up the script.
All of a sudden, we lost Quebec, everybody.
What you got? What do you want?